Nemanja Vidic was as hard as nails, and hardly any other defender in the history of the sport struck more fear into the hearts of opponents, teammates, and even fans. For almost a decade, Vidic stood firm at the heart of Manchester United's defense and was a gladiator in every sense of the word. The Serbian put his head where other players are scared to put their feet. For the most part, people tried avoiding picking up fights with Vidic because of the monster that he was. However, a few players decided to F around and find out. Let's see how it turned out for them. Back in 2011, Mario Balotelli was daring and ambitious, and that led him to confront Vidic during a Manchester derby in the 2011 Community Shield. After what looked like a strong challenge that left the Italian on the ground, Balotelli quickly went from reacting furiously and squaring up to Vidic to sheepishly downing tools in a split second when he realized that Vidic was the last person to pick up a fight with As you would expect, the former Man City forward immediately regretted his actions and quickly backpedaled on his intent as Vidic stared deeply into his soul. Vidic and Ferdinand were part of the Manchester United defense that broke the record for the most minutes played without conceding in the Premier League at 1,311 minutes. And one of the reasons they managed to do that was by making the opposition players second-guess their life decisions after a duel. Ask Micah Richards if you doubt me. In a 2008 Manchester derby, we saw the high-flying Micah Richards up against Vidic. Known for his strength and athleticism, Richards had the luxury of pulling off some of the most insane moves on the pitch, so he must have thought to himself that he could get away with what looked like a kung fu kick while trying to reach an aerial ball on the right flank. In the process of doing that, Richards caught Vidic, and for a split second, it seemed like the Serbian defender would come off worse. But in true Vidic fashion, he just brushed it off and was soon back on his feet. You couldn't make that up. I mean, take a look for yourself.
Now Richards.
It's one of them, Dan. Vidic knew that he was a true defender there by the big Serbian. Not too happy, I don't think, with Howard Webb.
It was on this near side in the din.
Didn't take his eyes off the football. He knew that Micah Richards was going to come piling through everything, and he had to take one there for the team.
That's a shoulder problem that back in the last season he was also taken off, you may remember, with concussion here against West Ham United.
Even after watching the replays, it's still a mystery how Richards ended up flat on the grass, especially considering his knee pretty much smacked Vidic right in the face. True to his hard nature, Vidic only took a few seconds to shake it off and was back on his feet like nothing happened, while Richards needed some assistance to get back up. Vidic did throw in a cheeky complaint to Howard Webb just for the sake of it, but you could tell that the man was built differently. Who was the next victim though? Didier Drogba was one tough lad back in the day, but he too decided to flirt with disaster and punch above his weight. With the rivalry between Chelsea and Man United as fierce as a rhino fight, referees always had a hard time keeping everyone on the pitch. On one occasion in 2008, Drogba was trying to control an aerial ball, but Vidic bravely threw his head into the danger zone. And although Vidic cleared the ball away, he ended up taking a nasty knee. Drogba never apologized for the incident. Fast forward a month later, in the Champions League final between United and Chelsea, both players were locked in a heated exchange when, out of nowhere, Drogba slapped Vidic right in the mouth. Now, obviously, it wasn't a knockout punch this time. Well, let's just say it took 4 grown men to hold Vidic back from absolutely destroying Drogba.
After 10 minutes, he said, come on, let's all push in. And then Vidic, look at Vidic, he's angry as it is, but Drogba gets involved, and one thing you can't do is raise your hands, as we all know.
So you have to say, it was boiling under all the time. John Terry should let Vidic go here, and then he'll end up getting sent off. Watch, Vidic goes for him.
Drogba earned himself a red card for his actions. But unbeknownst to him, John Terry and the other players probably saved his life on that day because Vidic was ready to get into the octagon with Drogba. After United former manager David Moyes got sacked in April 2014, Ryan Giggs kicked off his stint as Manchester United interim boss in style, with the Red Devils cruising past a struggling Norwich side at Old Trafford. Norwich looked sharp in midfield, with Snodgrass and Howson controlling possession, but with a misfiring Van Wolfswinkel up front, they never posed a threat as they fell to a 4-0 defeat. However, there was a bit of controversy when Vidic seemed to get up close and personal with Robert Snodgrass after a strong tackle didn't sit well with Snodgrass. When confronted, Vidic appeared to push his face into Snodgrass, which could be mistaken as a headbutt. However, referee Lee Probert missed the incident and refused to listen to Snodgrass's complaints. Poor Snodgrass seemed helpless in the face of adversity, and once again Vidic reminded everyone why he was the boogeyman. He wasn't just crunching into tackles and attacking the ball better than anyone else, he was also making sure opponents knew the implication of squaring up to him. Man, it was so unfair for the rest of the field, because Vidic was literally a walking cheat code. But things didn't always run smoothly at Old Trafford for the former Manchester United defender. Vidic often got into arguments with one of his teammates, Patrice Evra, and it got so bad that Evra wanted to punch Vidic on one occasion. Definitely not the smartest thing to do. See, Evra and Vidic were both signed by Sir Alex Ferguson during the same transfer window in 2006, and over the years they had a sort of love-hate relationship. At the beginning, they fought a lot, and even went 3 months without saying a single word to each other. The tension between both players boiled over so much that Sir Alex Ferguson had to shift Rio Ferdinand over to the left-sided center-back position, just so that Vidic and Evra weren't playing next to each other on the pitch. Although they resolved their differences, both players picked up another fight during the 2013 and 2014 season. With things going downhill fast for United, following Alex Ferguson's retirement, the defending champs crashed to 7th place, and frustration hit an all-time high among the players. On one occasion, after a brutal 3-0 loss to Liverpool at Old Trafford, Evra and Vidic came to blows. Vidic, who had been sent off after picking up 2 yellows from Mark Clattenburg, was fuming. He blamed Evra for abandoning his defensive duties and leaving him exposed. Evra didn't take that lightly. He completely lost it and had to be held back by Moyes and the coaching staff before things got physical at Carrington. Years later, Evra admitted he was ready to punch Vidic in the heat of the moment. Well, it's a good thing he didn't, because the Frenchman would most likely have regretted his actions, just like this next player. Kyle Walker once felt like it was a good idea to contest a 50-50 ball against Vidic. Well, it turns out that Walker not only got flipped like pancakes for breakfast, but he was also sent flying into the air like he was auditioning for the men's gymnastics national team. But you know the crazy part in all this? Vidic's tackle turned out to be a great pass, but credit to Walker for taking it like a man instead of rolling around and appealing for a foul. Back in August 2009, Vidic got away with an off-the-ball incident against Wigan's Hugo Rodallega as Manchester United ran away with a 5-0 win. At one point in the second half, things got heated up. Following a tackle, Hugo Rodallega tried to milk the situation for all it was worth, crumbling to the ground like a deck of cards and rolling around oh so dramatically. Howard Webb, who was officiating the match, ignored Rodallega's shenanigans. So the forward decided to take matters into his own hands and confront Vidic. As you would expect, Vidic was having none of it. So he flicked a hand at Rodallega's face. Might have been a little unnecessary from Vidic, but Webb did not see it, and Vidic remained on the pitch. Still, Vidic was the kind of man you wanted in your defense. For the better part of a decade, he put his body on the line for Manchester United, and here are some of the stats during his time with United. But stats alone absolutely do not do justice to just how good Vidic was. The Serbian suffered bumps, bruises, and a bloody nose throughout his career, but he always made sure to give out just as many as he took. So what are your thoughts about Nemanja Vidic and his spot among the elite? And also, why don't we really see defenders like Vidic anymore?